Snakes are elongated, limbless, carnivorous reptiles of the suborder Serpentes. Like all other squamates, snakes are ectothermic, amniote vertebrates covered in overlapping scales. Many species of snakes have skulls with several more joints than their lizard ancestors, enabling them to swallow prey much larger than their heads with their highly mobile jaws. To accommodate their narrow bodies, snakes' paired organs appear one in front of the other instead of side by side, and most have only one functional lung. Living snakes are found on every continent except Antarctica, and on most smaller land masses. Exceptions include some large islands, such as Ireland, Iceland, Greenland, the Hawaiian archipelago, and the islands of New Zealand, as well as many small islands of the Atlantic and Central Pacific Oceans. Additionally, sea snakes are widespread throughout the Indian and Pacific Oceans. More than 20 families are currently recognized, comprising about 520 genera and about 3,900 species. They range in size from the tiny, 10.4 cm long Barbados thread snake to the reticulated python of 6.95 meters in length. The fossil species Titanoboa ceruginoensis was 12.8 meters long. Snakes are thought to have evolved from either burrowing or aquatic lizards, perhaps during the Jurassic period, with the earliest known fossils dating to between 143 and 167 ma ago. The diversity of modern snakes appeared during the Paleocene epoch. The oldest preserved descriptions of snakes can be found in the Brooklyn Papyrus. Most species of snake are non-venomous, and those that have venom use it primarily to kill and subdue prey rather than for self-defense. Some possess venom that is potent enough to cause painful injury or death to humans. Non-venomous snakes either swallow prey alive or kill by constriction. Based on comparative anatomy, there is consensus that snakes descended from lizards. Pythons and boas, primitive groups among modern snakes, have vestigial hind limbs, tiny, clawed digits known as anal spurs, which are used to grasp during mating. The families Leptotyphlopidae and Typhlopidae also possess remnants of the pelvic girdle, appearing as horny projections when visible. The now extinct Titanoboa ceruginoensis was 12.8 m in length. By comparison, the largest extant snakes are the reticulated python, measuring about 6.95 m long, and the green anaconda, which measures about 5.21 m long and is considered the heaviest snake on Earth at 97.5 kilograms. At the other end of the scale, the smallest extant snake is Leptotyphlops carli, with a length of about 10.4 centimeters. Most snakes are fairly small animals, approximately 1 m in length. The skin of a snake is covered in scales. Contrary to the popular notion of snakes being slimy, because of possible confusion of snakes with worms, snakeskin has a smooth, dry texture. Most snakes use specialized belly scales to travel, allowing them to grip surfaces. The body scales may be smooth, keeled, or granular. The eyelids of a snake are transparent spectacle scales, also known as brill, which remain permanently closed. The shedding of scales is called ectasis, or in normal usage, molting or sloughing. Snakes shed the complete outer layer of skin in one piece. Snake scales are not discrete, but but extensions of the epidermis, hence they are not shed separately but as a complete outer layer during each molt, akin to a sock being turned inside out. The skeleton of most snakes consists solely of the skull, hyoid, vertebral column, and ribs. Though Henophidian snakes retain vestiges of the pelvis and rear limbs, the skull consists of a solid and complete neurocranium, to which many of the other bones are only loosely attached, particularly the highly mobile jaw bones, which facilitate manipulation and ingestion of large prey items. The skeleton of most snakes consists solely of the skull, hyoid, vertebral column, and ribs. Though Henophidian snakes retain vestiges of the pelvis and rear limbs, snakes do not ordinarily prey on humans. Unless startled or injured, most snakes prefer to avoid contact and will not attack humans. With the exception of large constrictors, non-venomous snakes are not a threat to humans. The bite of a non-venomous snake is usually harmless. Their teeth are not adapted for tearing or inflicting a deep puncture wound, but rather grabbing and holding. Although the possibility of infection and tissue damage is present in the bite of a non-venomous snake, venomous snakes present far greater hazard to humans. In some parts of the world, especially in India, snake charming is a roadside show performed by a charmer. In such a show, the snake charmer carries a basket containing a snake that he seemingly charms by playing tunes with his flute-like musical instrument, to which the snake responds. The snake is in fact responding to the movement of the flute, not the sound it makes, as snakes lack external ears, though they do have internal ears. All snakes are strictly carnivorous, preying on small animals including lizards, frogs, other snakes, small mammals, birds, eggs, fish, snails, worms, and insects. Snakes cannot bite or tear their food to pieces, so must swallow their prey whole. The eating habits of a snake are largely influenced by body size. Smaller snakes eat smaller prey. Juvenile pythons might start out feeding on lizards or mice and graduate to small deer or antelope as an adult.